Question 1 and question 2. So question number 1, find the domain, and it's the implied domains of these. With an implied domain, I need to look at square roots, logs, and denominators. Here I have a square root, therefore 5 minus 3x has to be bigger than or equal to 0 for you to be able to take the square root. Minus 3x is bigger than or equal to negative 5. Divide both sides by negative 3. And I swap the inequality sign around. Therefore, minus infinity to 5/3, inclusive of 5/3, not inclusive. Now, this I've got a denominator as well as a square root. Therefore, whatever is inside the square root can only be bigger than 0, can't equal 0. Be on the lookout for similar things. So therefore, I'm going to have x is less than 5/3 in this case, minus infinity to 5/3, not inclusive of the 5/3. In part B, I've got this square root that has been moved a half to the right, and because of the negative on the x shoots that way, and this one has been moved 3 on 2 to the left, then shoots that way. Therefore, the domain of f is minus infinity to 1/2, inclusive of a half. The domain of g is minus 3 on 2 to infinity, inclusive of minus 3 on 2. We have a rule for the domain of f plus g, and it's the domain of f intersect the domain of g. The domain of f goes from a half all the way back that way. The domain of g goes minus 3 on 2 all the way that way. Therefore, my overlap is in the middle. Therefore, minus 3 on 2 to 1/2. And the third part, we have a rule for the domain of gof is equal to the domain of the inside, which is f, which means this is the answer that I want. And had you have got this incorrect but wrote whatever you had there here, you would have been correct. And lastly, in question 2, to round off the domain and range questions, the domain I don't include negative 2, and I go forever and ever and ever. So I go to infinity for the domain, and the range is all the way down at minus infinity, and the highest y value achieved is 12, and it's inclusive of 12. And the second part, the domain includes minus 15, goes all the way but doesn't include 10, and then goes to infinity. You could have written minus 15 to infinity, excluding 10 as another way, and the range, the lowest range value is 0, and doesn't include 50, but does include 50 over here, all the way up to 100, but not inclusive of 100. So that's question 1 and question 2.